Wyatt talking, and then they'd show like an angry Cena face. And then from behind, apparently he had like a red thong stick that I don't know if you go back to the somebody said what the hell is that? Trending now worldwide, Cena's lady parts in a red slutty thong. Here's Tyler.
Yes, good fun as always on the Great Wrestling Debate. Of course, we lost Corey though for the meantime, so it's back to just
two-man
Wayne.
show again.
Back to just Wayne and I for now, but that's all right. We got a couple weeks left until WrestleMania, and things.
Less than 3 weeks.
Yeah, less than 3 weeks, and some things continue to change, which we'll talk about obviously. But Raw this past Monday was definitely quite interesting. You know, you had the opening segment, obviously Triple H and Dave Bautista, Randy Orton, getting interested. Essentially, I guess, you know, even though nobody really thinks that Triple H is going to beat Daniel Bryan, you know, if he were to win, I guess, then Triple H would be in this triple threat match at
kind of like a mini March Madness WrestleMania style. It sounds like.
Yeah. So, but now at least that does confirm though that the either way that title match is going to be a triple threat match.
Rules, yeah.
But most likely Daniel Bryan.
I mean, I'm with you. I don't think it changes the predictability of the match, but it does add a little more emphasis to it. Because I always thought it was stupid when it's Bryan Triple H. Okay, but if Triple H wins, is that it? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now we know that it's triple threat match either way. So
actually, some very good exchange between Big Dave and Randy and them. I mean, it was. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie there. Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista triple threat match. I don't think it's ever happened. Ever.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
It would be 3 rounds of Evolution.
Evolution.
You threw Ric Flair's, especially as referee. Yeah. I mean, you got an Evolution main event. But no, I think Bryan is it almost feels like after how even Raw ended, they're setting this guy up for a massive push.
Right.
Now, like I said earlier, I still am laughing that now even the Triple H thing, people are still saying, "Oh yeah, this was clearly all planned from the beginning." And that.
Yeah.
Which actually there's a funny internet comic that kind of just showed up that I saw, and it shows pretty much Triple H talking to his grandkids or his kids essentially and saying, "Hey, you want to hear how Daddy saved the main event for WrestleMania 30?" I said, "Yeah, Dad, you know, tell us." And he goes, "Well, the first part is it shows him talking to Bryan. It's like, hey Bryan, good news. You're going to be in the main event. You're going to win the title at WrestleMania 30. One quick thing though, we want you to join the Wyatt family for 2 weeks, then turn on him, and then we're going to kind of ignore you for like a whole pay-per-view." And then all of a sudden you're just going to be right in the main event out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And Bryan's like, "Well, that's great," and the fans will never see it coming. And then it shows another photo of him talking to Batista. And it's like, "Hey Dave, you know, nice to coming back. You have this great idea here. We want you to come back as a heel, but first you're going to come out as a baby face. You're going to look like a complete douchebag with sunglasses and tight jeans and all that, and fans are just going to have to hate you then, essentially. So you're going to turn heel, but you're still going to win the Rumble, though it's technically a baby face.
Yeah.
Even though we all know the fans are going to just crap all over you in that match. And then at the end of the day, it's going to be you and Orton and Bryan at triple threat, and Bryan's going to go over, and Batista goes, "Wow, this is a great story for Bryan, you know, it's good for this kid." And the final one is talking to Punk, and he goes, "Hey Punk, I also have this great idea as well. Let's just hype up for like 2-3 months that it's going to be you and me at Mania. Then all of a sudden, just to screw with the internet fans, you just pretend to walk away from the company and say you quit. And then all of a sudden, it has to be me and Bryan in a match." And Bryan going, "That's genius." Then all of a sudden, he goes back to him talking to his kids, and he goes, "And that, kids, is how your daddy saved the main event of WrestleMania." And his one daughter stands up and says, "Okay, Dad, not even we believe that story."
Yeah. Well, yeah, and not only that, I mean, the problem with Triple H winning would be you'd have 3 heels then essentially. And obviously that the match.
That actually was probably a popular comment too that I saw on Twitter.
Yeah.
And which is that, man, if Triple H wins over Daniel Bryan, then wins the title the same night, the internet would just explode.
Right, exactly.
Triple H would literally kill the internet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, now it's one thing if one of those guys were baby faces, but obviously they're not. So yeah,
I mean, the course guy that
there's
baby
no way
that
that-
whole promo was Triple H.
Yeah.
Who just like got sick of Randy's bitching and Batista's bitching. We have a team of reasons there. I mean,
Yeah.
and even the shot of him saying Batista's from Hollywood and I'm sick of Hollywood actors
Right,
coming in here.
yeah,
I don't know if that was a low blow at The Rock or
Yeah.
I don't know, but there was that. And of course, the Randy Orton stuff was just common sense. But finally,
yeah.
I guess fans are just happy to hear come out Triple H mouth like you would not be holding those belts if it wasn't for me helping you essentially.
Yeah.
So be interesting to see how those heels would react to fighting Triple H on a triple threat match probably.
Yeah.
Because technically, they're like kiss ups essentially. Ass kissers.
Yeah.
Well, actually, at least Randy is. Batista kind of makes fun of him for that in the promo as well. But no, I'm with you. I think it's Bryan no matter what.
Right,
but
yeah.
you got to make it as unbelievable as possible that,
Right,
that he's
yeah.
going to win essentially.
Yeah. So yeah, which that's all fine, and then then they had a Triple H had Orton and Daniel Bryan face in a no disqualification match.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good stuff there. I mean, it's a pretty brutal night. Another no disqualification match after last week having a Memphis brawl or whatever, and of course the beatdown at the end, which we'll get to later.
Actually, the funny thing too was that Batista's hijack.
Yeah.
Because first he's walking off like completely. I did not sign up for this. I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for a triple threat match at WrestleMania or something like that. And all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and spears the hell out of
Yeah.
See, I think that also this heel thing has just re-energized Batista now. He's
Yeah.
just way more motivated now than when he came out as a
Yeah.
babyface at Mania.
Yeah.
Because that spear actually looked pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And I don't mean brutal
Yeah,
as in bad. I mean brutal as in actually
Right.
it actually hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then of course Bryan with the high knee and I shouldn't say drop kick Batista just
Right.
swinging him out of the ring. But yeah, no, I mean I thought it was a pretty good match.
Yeah, Batista getting revenge on Orton. That's the thing too. It makes it like, even if Daniel Bryan does win, there's still tension between Orton and Batista.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's not just two guys ganging up on Daniel Bryan the whole match.
Actually, I think it was the Solomonster on his Twitter account brought up. He says he's never seen for a main event of Mania in a long time this many matches between main event,
Yeah.
potential main events, superstars at WrestleMania just facing each other. I mean, like,
Yeah.
what Bryan faced Batista, he's faced Orton. I mean,
Yeah.
I get you gonna have at least one Batista Orton match before Mania at least because it
Yeah.
feels like those two want to get their hands on each other quick before.
Right.
And since we know that it's going to be a triple threat match, that's not going to spoil the main event or anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. I don't even care if it's heel versus heel. I know those two guys got a history, and but, right now they kind of both hate each other, even though they're both heels.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that was an interesting start off to Raw, and then of course like throughout the night, you had Stephanie McMahon questioning what Triple H was doing. And
Actually, that was good. I actually bought into that
Interesting.
too. Actually, like Lily bought into
Yeah.
that whole idea that she was legitimately angry with him,
Yeah.
and that the whole idea of okay, honey, and then we use the world title. What's the CEO gonna do? How for Mr. Pitt does that make any sense? I mean, looking at it like, yeah, how does that make any sense too? I mean, you're supposed to be this, head of the company in a way, and you're gonna be holding the belt. I mean,
yeah.
you're not even technically an active guy on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of, burial Triple H internet fans would shudder at the thought of Triple H, but like I said, I don't, like
I
we've
don't.
just been saying.
I don't see it. I just
Yeah.
unless the whole idea is to like it's 30th anniversary. Let's do like a quick middle finger and I mean the only thing that makes sense is that if they're going like a WrestleMania 16 or /2000 strategy, because everybody thought that's when The Rock was going to get the belt off of Triple H. That in that crazy big man fatal 4-way concept they came up with. Actually, it was supposed to. The original idea was it was going to be just a Rock Triple H 1-on-1, but McMahon was going to be like the referee or in Rock's corner. But then supposedly somebody came up with this idea of how about we have Big Show with Shane and Foley, and technically his only main event in WrestleMania history.
Yeah.
As hard as it believes, that's Mick Foley's only main event at a WrestleMania. And win in his corner. But and everybody thought Rock's going to win because a babyface at that point has always won closed Mania on top.
Yeah.
And I should say it kind of ended on a good note because after Triple H won the belt, the first heel to ever win a main event, by the way. ironically, because that sounds. Then The Rock comes in and just beats up everybody, essentially. And then, the song plays, and that's how Mania ends. So it does end on a good note. To me, it's almost like 27 did.
Yeah.
The Miz wins a heel, but The Rock beats up
heel.
Miz, and so the fans can, I guess, go home happy. I think everybody was happy after 27. I think people were satisfied with 16 because they were curious where it was going now, the storyline.
Yeah.
Of course, I led to Backlash. It usually, no nothing B review, and that's when The Rock finally won the belt, and that's when you had Stone Steve Austin come back. I mean, I remember watching that match, and that pay per view I think was better than WrestleMania that year. I think, as crazy as that sounds, because of just the fact that I think that match got a little more personal than the main event did.
Yeah. So yeah, and then in other news, well, I don't know if it's, but Paul Heyman coming out and again talking with the Undertaker and the Undertaker, breaking out the rest in peace line that Brock Lesnar will rest in peace at WrestleMania.
You're talking about I guess his main event appearance then, or something, because on Raw, Taker wasn't there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
All Heyman did was show a sweet video.
Yeah, like a video of.
I like it. They were acknowledging, I think, for the first time, Taker's very old age, essentially.
Yeah.
Especially pretty much saying, look, how many years does this guy have left?
Yeah.
He's been getting, and showing all those times getting the hell kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Just getting beat up a lot. I mean, and then just showing Brock Lesnar to this young, strong guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it adds intrigue to it. Once again, I don't think it's gonna. I think Taker's streak is safe this year.
Yeah.
I would be curious if a certain painted face figure makes his WWE debut that night, though.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens against a Mania.
Yeah. And then of course you had the Wyatt family and Cena again. Cena kind of like referring to his relationship with the WWE or whatever, like an old married couple. But that was pretty, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know.
I thought Bray's phone was pretty good.
Yeah,
wearing the Cena merchandise.
Wearing the Cena merchandise.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I mean, I think Cena. I'd like to see Wyatt, the Wyatt family get over here. I don't know if, the rest of the Wyatts are going to be in that battle royal or what, but some are saying, they're going to interfere in the match at WrestleMania. But I don't,
maybe not. I mean, obviously, the battle royal is going to take up a lot of spots.
Yeah.
Raw showed that. Obviously, my favorite right now, the Big Show is confirmed now.
Right,
finally.
yeah.
In fact, he even acknowledged tomorrow on SmackDown. The Miz says, and the favorite to win this whole battle royal is the Big Show, and I'm guessing that's just because he's a giant, because the trophy is of a legendary giant and so on. But I don't know. I mean, as of right now, the Wyatts don't have anything else for Mania planned yet. I mean, obviously the Shield of Babyface looking with Kane right now, and since it looks like they're not splitting up, I don't see any signs of splitting up right now.
Yeah.
At least not. And maybe they just said, we're not gonna turn on these guys. We're gonna wait till WrestleMania to maybe turn these guys on each other finally. I mean, the only other thing that makes sense to me is that maybe Kane said, it's still gonna be a true bet. Kane could just say, you know what, I'm gonna punish you guys. You guys are gonna have to face each other, whether you want to or not, for Dean Ambrose United States Championship, just so you guys have something to battle over, essentially. I mean, the other theory is that, you said about, what about Luke Harper and Eric Rowan? Maybe Kane. Well, no, maybe Kane has them as his partners, and it's a six-man tag team match then.
Yeah, I don't know.
And maybe that's where you do the Shield, I don't know. Huge. Well, it gives Eric Rowan and Luke Harper something to do than just staying in the corner for Bray.
Right. Yeah.
See, if that happens, it's gonna be like, I think to me it's gonna be like the Bray and Bryan match. They're gonna just they're gonna kind of technically interfere. Ref catches and they're gonna have to get barred from ringside then. Yeah. I mean, because if they want Bray to look strong, and right now they're trying to make him look very strong as an individual. He's got to face him without any interference.
Yeah.
Whether he wins or not, I mean, honestly, somebody's going to say, well, he puts in a great effort. He's already won it then.
Yeah.
He's already shown that he's got potential. So people would say, no, he has to win. There's no benefit to Cena winning except the kiddies are going to be happy for something. And Great, I don't think the whole crowd's gonna be happy. I think it's gonna be a pro break crowd because
Yeah.
if WrestleMania history shows us that's not a pro Cena crowd anymore. It's the hardcore fans
Yeah.
show up to Mania.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking, moving on with the Shield too, I read that a lot of their face turn, according to NoGQ.com, that a lot of the face turn had to do with the New Age Outlaws wanting to work with the Shield before the New Age Outlaws breakup. Actually have an article, or the post actually. I'll get I think I'll bring up again. Yeah, it says coming out of the SmackDown tape, it appears the Usos will be defending the tag team titles against Jack Swagger and Cesaro, and Curtis Axel and Ryback. So that's, I guess, might have a triple threat tag team match there.
I think that's what. Yeah, I think Kane announced that on SmackDown. I think that's what he announced. Because technically, there's like a fatal 4-way
Yeah.
for the tag team championship, and it does involve the Shield, Ryback, Axel, and 3MB, who will be added to the Battle Royal. So that's three name spots there.
Right.
I mean, Kofi Kingston gets added also. I mean, the spots keep filling up to this Battle Royal here, which is how it should. I mean, I don't know if they're going to go Royal Rumble, pretty much, and just say, we're going to have some surprising spots maybe in here. I wouldn't do that. I think this is clearly just, let's give everybody a payday, essentially. But try to not just have a random Battle Royal, just have they're fighting for something. So just make it like an annual trophy, I guess.
Right, yeah. Yeah, new tradition for WrestleMania, I guess.
Actually, no, that could be it. The Outlaws could deal with Kane against the Shield too, technically.
Yeah. Now it says here, also in the schedule is a 6-man match with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose taking on Kane and the New Age Outlaws. Tag team plans for WrestleMania have gone back and forth this year, but it said that the New Age Outlaws wanted to work with the Shield before the team breaks up, so the card was slightly changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like now that's.
Well, I was gonna say the Outlaws aren't breaking up. To me, once the Outlaws are done, they're done. They're not gonna wrestle anymore. They're gonna be agents probably.
Yeah.
Which tells what Road Dogg was before they decided to bring back the Outlaws temporarily. Like I said, I mean that could make sense. You can have some old school versus new school at the Mania.
Yeah. Before the Shield breaks up, I think that's actually what I meant. I remember it wrong.
I'm gonna say when you're
not the,
Billy Gunn and Road Dogg
Dogg
split. I'm like I think they're too old to go on a singles career path.
That meant the Shield breaking up.
I think Billy Gunn had his shot in 1999 to be a main event player, and he bombed at it.
Yeah.
And Road Dogg never really had his shot. Some people thought he probably deserved at least one shot at a singles run. I think the closest he came was, I think he might have won the Intercontinental title one time, I think.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I think he won it one time. That was the closest thing to maybe a singles run for him. But the guy that had the best shot was Billy Gunn. He won the 1999 King of the Ring. You thought, as Mr. Ass of all people, essentially, and faces The Rock, and I don't say he got buried, but nobody took him serious against The Rock.
Yeah.
It's really The Rock and Billy Gunn. I don't see Billy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You probably have seen the classic Edge promo after he won the King of the Ring. And he goes Billy Gunn out as the one Billy Gunn, and he's like bitching and moaning about how Edge is the most overrated King of the Ring winner and all that. And all Edge, which is, I think Edge of the classic moment, they're saying like, well, Billy, if I ever end up like you, please, for the love of God, just shoot me in the head now or something like that. And luckily for Edge, he never ended up being like Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
He was way better than Billy Gunn.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely surprising seeing the face turn the Shield. It was definitely good execution with Jerry Lawler. You had to think something was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Lawler was going to get beaten down.
Not after the heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. And then of all ways, they turn around and instead turn face essentially.
And I'm not gonna lie, Kane's reaction was pretty good.
Yeah.
Kind of a delayed reaction when they got to the cat. Like first kind of smiled, and all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still not won over by Corporate Kane now.
Yeah.
Man, it's because we've seen him in the mask for so many years, where he still so demonic, and now he looks so corporate. And I give him credit. He's changing his gimmick around. He's trying to stay original in that, but it's just once you get stuck with something, maybe you should not get off of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, But yeah, it makes it interesting now as far as when they do break up the Shield goes again, because right now now they're all babyface, but which makes it
For now.
Yeah, for now.
I'm
yeah.
curious who's going to be the one
That's
turning
the
then.
thing.
Who's going to screw?
Yeah. Well, I would think, I would think Ambrose would probably be the heel.
But then
As
you had
far as-
Rollins turning.
Rollins could too. Yeah.
What if? Well, I should
think-
say Reigns. I should not say Reigns because I think Reigns has got a massive babyface push.
Yeah, that's the
But
thing.
if he turned, that would shock people because
Right, it would.
he's the one guy nobody saw coming as a heel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean Rollins I think is a wild card, but yeah, Reigns I would be shocked if he was the guy.
Well,
that turned
supposedly, and this is supposedly an article report came out. Supposedly,
breaking news.
no, it's not breaking news.
No, it's just a report.
This is a report that I know it's online, but it was apparently that from Bleacher. Apparently, a memo came out. Internal memo got leaked.
Yeah.
Which usually are very big. That's just, internal usually means to stay inside.
Right.
But supposedly it's that the top 5 talents that they're going to be pushing singles-wise, starting in 2014 and so moving forward is going to be John Cena. That's no shocker there. Daniel Bryan, obviously with WrestleMania coming. Roman Reigns, which would be shocking. Something he's the one guy that they really want to get their money behind in the Shield right now.
Yeah.
Randy Orton, which I mean, he's probably going to be, and Sheamus of all people, but I guess they really think this guy still has a shot. Right. And to their credit, he is kind of semi over there. I mean, I still don't know what else he can do though to get his character, to update his character a bit.
Yeah. I mean that's 5. It's an interesting top 5 there.
Yeah. Do you one name that's missing though?
Well, I mean, you chisel CM Punk out of there now with him being gone. But
well, no, but I mean, like one guy that supposedly like signed a deal and Batista.
A new deal.
Batista.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah,
I mean, great. The guy's 45, and by the time this contract's over, he'll be like 47.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a young buck anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
But still, I mean, you would have thought that his name would be somewhere in the top 5 there as far as because this isn't just pushes. This is just okay. These guys are gonna be center of attention.
Right.
So
WWE's
is Batista like out of the title picture now completely after Mania? Did they just say he'll just stick around and do some maybe special matches like Lesnar does? Whatever, gonna put the belt on this guy essentially. I mean, because for a while I always thought Batista's at least gonna get one more title reign yet, because he's gonna be working a lot more dates than Lesnar or any of those other part timers.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a factor, but no, but I guess maybe somebody just said no. We gotta keep pushing young guys here, and I mean all 5 of those guys are young. I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I wouldn't say the youngest guys on the roster. I mean, Roman Reigns is the youngest guy there.
Yeah.
And 3 of them have pretty much been established main eventers. Bryan, I think, has pretty much been proven to be established main eventer now, essentially. Especially now the second tier babyface of the company.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I mean, no Batista. So it'd be interesting to see where he goes after Mania.
Yeah, like it's interesting that like Sheamus is on that list there, but not Batista.
Well, I mean, the one thing Sheamus has though is that I've never seen a star internationally get kind of a superstar reaction, kind of.
The Irish connection. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. Like someone who's foreign born.
Right.
Like how many foreign born world champions can you really name in the company?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
There's not a whole list of that there. That's unique, and in a global company, you want you want to try to find something for everybody, and you got a top European talent. I would say where's Wade Barrett in this mess too here because the Brit
he's doing his bad news. Yeah.
Oh my
he's
God.
Not going too far with those.
He's not going. I don't know. The day I hear he gets his face swept will be the saddest day because this guy. Because I got this way here. He didn't screw up his push.
Right, yeah.
He did everything the company asked him to do. He was a company guy, and if anything, the company screwed him over. Now, maybe people say, well, he could have easily said the Brady's Bear character gimmick was a bad gimmick, but I don't know. But I think Barry would have had a chance to be either a great heel or a great European star, essentially. Because he was over in the UK back in the day. Babyface reactions all the time. I mean, only British person I can think of was William Regal that would be so hated in the States, but yet once you go over to England, good old England, a rock star essentially. I mean, the guy could have could have been a WWE champion there and
Yeah.
would have been like the top draw essentially.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that's the only reason why I think Sheamus is getting
Yeah.
still looked at that
Well,
way.
I mean, he got hurt, and that set him back a little bit. But Batista, they just bring him right back in Royal Rumble. But then, after WrestleMania, it's up in the air with Batista.
I mean, because obviously Guardians is coming out in August, and you know he's got to go promote that movie.
Right? Yeah. So.
That's a big movie for Marvel. They want to get as much advertising as they can, and it usually
Yeah.
means interviews and so on. So he's going to be missing some roles, obviously.
Yeah,
so.
that makes sense. Yeah, and the only thing with that list too is it's you got 4 baby faces on it and only one heel as Randy Orton.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if they turned Sheamus back heel again.
Well, that's involved too.
A lot of people
Some
have been
people have been
saying
asking that question too. It's like, the heel kind of front is beginning kind of, it feels like short.
Yeah,
I mean, tell me everything. We tell you even top baby faces the list. I mean, what happens if John Cena and Daniel Bryan get hurt?
Yeah.
Both were out. I mean, go try to find that third spot. That third guy then, because to me that's a battle between multiple baby faces.
Yeah.
And none of them, if they got ever that opportunity, great opportunity for them. But I don't see the ratings doing well with those shows because a lot of people could be like, well, this is a mid card guy. Why is he in the main event? I mean, obviously, yeah, because if Cena and Bryan got hurt, that would have to happen. But then you can also say about what happens if Orton got hurt, because at this point he's like the only legitimate heel in the company right now. I mean, who goes into that spot eventually?
Yeah. Yeah, other than Dave Batista, but I mean that's again he go promote. His
I mean, yeah,
movie or
there's Triple
whatever.
H in that, but I what's it? Is that
He's the boss. Yeah.
is that long term? And as Vince gets older and Triple H gets older as well, and starts moving more into this corporate role.
Yeah.
I mean, of actually taking over and running the company essentially. Should he be getting in the ring on a regular basis then? I mean, a lot of questions here, and I could say WWE kind of deserves to get dug in this hole.
Yeah.
They've pretty much done a crappy job building young talent for a while. They finally have waken up and realized we got to get some young guys up here.
Right. Yeah.
Because a lot of these old guys, they're just going to be wrecking their body to the point where one of them might actually be in a wheelchair when they're in their 50s or 60s, maybe.
Yeah.
It's that scary, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely, it's good to see Roman Reigns on that list at least. And
youngest guy on there. I mean.
Yeah, and again, one of those other guys gets hurt. They might throw another guy in there.
I'm not gonna lie though. I am so sick and tired of some people online saying the reason why Reigns is the guy getting with this because he's the Rock's nephew.
Yeah.
He's the Rock's cousin. That's why. I'm like, yeah. That's why Cody Rhodes is doing so well right now. Ted DiBiase Jr. is doing so well right now because the $1 Million Man was his father.
Yeah.
He doesn't work for the company anymore.
Right.
So we start with the whole, he's part of this generation. I mean, if anything, like I said, these guys got more pressure because they got the actual legacy to live up to.
Yeah.
So he's just, he's a big guy, but I think he's an athletic big guy though.
Yeah, you watch him in the ring.
I don't know. Just some people on the internet sometimes.
Yeah. So.
I mean, everybody should get functioned. It's just what the internet's been turned into essentially.
Yeah.
But. No, I
agree.
I was have comments though about Roman Reigns and why he's getting pushed. It's like,
and you think even most people even know that other than a lot of people that really look into this stuff.
Oh, exactly. It's insane.
when he's out there, in his debut match, destroying Kane, Daniel Bryan, and Ryback, you think that was going through people's heads, and amongst the other matches that they've had, the great matches that Shield had. So it's definitely interesting. Like, if like Dean Ambrose or something, for instance, becomes like the next, maybe the second tier heel or something. Against.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of people say he's born heel. He just has that face of a guy you just want to see get his teeth knocked in, essentially, which is the perfect heel right there, essentially.
Yeah.
If you like something getting beat up, you're a heel.
Yeah.
Like if you just like to see you get beat the hell kicked at you.
Yeah. He's got the voice of a heel too.
Well, that's
promos and
even his wrestling style is heel like. I mean, Seth Rollins. I don't know if he'd work as a heel though. This is athletic ability. His his fancy like.
Yeah.
I mean, it just
only if he was working with Ambrose.
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, because alone I don't know if he could be
because he even turns heel. She does like an amazing backflip off the top rope.
Yeah.
Cheers then.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So that's definitely interesting stuff. Talking with the Shield, and then I think other than that, I mean, that pretty much brought us to the closing segment. I guess you could say, as far as important things that really happened in.
Well, I guess as far as the top tier matches, I mean, obviously there was more hype, more entries announced for the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
I figured it's a lot of small feuds that
Right.
I mean, like
Yeah.
Christian and Sheamus are in it now, so they're just
working
pulling
on.
in some small feuds to this one massive match, so that they don't like leave people behind essentially.
Right. Yeah.
But and like I said, the Real Americans are getting a tag team title shot, so
Yeah.
at least they're not going to be in the Battle Royal. At least they're actually going to be fighting for a
Right,
title
yeah.
in that. And actually, I think that brings our like match count for the tag team to 6. We had in the New Age Outlaws Kane Shield one possibly that's
Yeah.
7. I think there's only one more really match to go over. No one that really makes sense right now is the Divas match. And
Yeah.
don't know what kind of match it's
Right.
going to be, but we got I guess a Divas match
Yeah.
yet, and that's it. That's 8, and that should probably be the full
Probably
card for
be-
Mania.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely becoming clear here.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
it should with like less than 3 weeks left.
Yeah.
It's not clear at this point. Something's wrong.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's still I guess a couple possible changes, but I think it's getting pretty close.
But again,
to
I've
six
never
now.
seen a main event change so
Right.
Which
Yeah.
once again, Bay Theory. I doubt this was
It
a long-term
wasn't.
plan.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, that obviously the closing set. Brought us to the closing segment. Definitely pretty interesting. And again, it's probably another one of these segments where the Triple H haters are like, oh, Brian's getting buried again.
I think if anything, it shows
Just
like
because that big beat down.
I think if anything, it shows like Triple H is a way better heel than a babyface.
Yeah, especially
He
in
just
this
had,
role.
like I said, and Triple H even says anyway, he knows about the internet criticism of him married to a McMahon and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And he said he uses that as a perfect heel dynamic. 'Cause
Yeah.
he knows that if he does something,
Yeah.
I mean, have there been actual cases of him actually burying somebody on television, like being maybe someone unprofessional? Yeah, there have been. And maybe one day he'll write a book about it, about those stories and that, or somebody else will, like a Booker T might write some stories about that, because that was clearly a burial on his part. But other parts, it's just him messing around with the internet community, essentially.
Yeah.
Or it's just the hardcore fans that just, have this theory that because he's married to a McMahon, he's been screwing people and
Yeah.
has this massive authority of who wins, which kind of is what his character is now. It's almost like he's playing reality now, finally.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I don't like Brian, and I'm just gonna bury this guy. He's not gonna get any shot or anything.
Yeah, but no, I mean it was funny too. It was like Triple H like toying with everybody, and this whole Stephanie McMahon thing, toying with that.
Can I take a shot at CM Punk? Did you catch that too?
Where was that?
When he said, oh, we've kept you down, Brian, for so long there, but you, unlike somebody else, some other people I knew in this company, did not take their ball and just go
Yeah,
along.
that's right.
or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
That could be referencing anybody, but I
But,
think
yeah,
recently
obviously-
I think it's a Punk
Yeah,
reference.
most recently, that would definitely sound like a Punk reference. But yeah, that and then I guess these fake cops that were standing in the ring it was pretty fun. You guys aren't even real cops, and
Yeah, first they're guessing they can't even touch somebody that way if you're not a cop.
yeah, that was pretty comical. And now Daniel Bryan already handcuffed, and then Triple H
Just beat the hell out
just
of
beat
it.
yeah. I mean, there were,
I mean, for as much as as much as you can get beat up in a PG show.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean, you got the one point where he just dunks, he just takes Daniel Bryan's head, dunks it in the
the water bottle like thing.
yeah, the case of water bottles, I guess, in the ice, and yeah, that was a good good visual. Right?
Actually, one of the things about the Triple H promo earlier in the night too was the whole idea of what if you lose Triple H to Brian?
Yeah.
What if you lose? And just him just going, I'm not gonna lose to this guy. I mean,
Yeah.
like what do you mean if I lose?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lose to this little guy.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's almost equivalent as WrestleMania 22 when he did his press conference and he said, like, there's a lot I can say about my main event at WrestleMania 22. This is gonna be the easiest opponent I ever had.
Yeah.
I remember like the internet community back when like John Cena were like, oh my god, you just buried this young kid here for no apparent reason. You know what he did though? He made people like actually believe that. Oh, you know, why is this kid actually in his ring here?
Yeah.
Then the kid makes Triple H tap out, and I'd be curious if he lets Brian let him tap out on at Mania or takes a high knee.
Yeah.
Because tapping out, that
that's-
goes over way. I mean, that's the thing about the 22 match, which is good about the ending. Nobody really thought Triple H was going to let John tap him out to the STF or anything. But
Yeah.
Triple H, I guess, maybe following orders or something,
Yeah.
probably just said, you're going to tap out. You're gonna, and legitimately tap out, too.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, like I said, I think the beatdown was pretty brutal, and
Yeah.
I think it just adds more to Mania, essentially.
Yeah.
And it just adds more of a bump to Bryan, essentially.
Yeah. And it wasn't just, a quick, it was a long, extended beatdown.
Oh,
Even,
it went way over.
yeah.
Actually, at one point on the network, they were starting the post-show while the live telecast was still going on.
Yeah.
Which was just hilarious, because they're like...
It was like...
At one point, like I think it's Riley is like Alex Riley, who's like pretty much not an analyst now, more than a wrestler. Was
Yeah.
like talking like great Todd Grisham and like Josh Matthews and the Miz,
Yeah.
and pretty much just going like, yeah, this is unconductive of our CEO to do this. This is abuse of power, and I'm like, yeah, because he's like a pedigree on
Yeah.
television. I mean. I don't know because they didn't know that the show was still on television at the time. I don't know. I just thought it was funny they started the post show and Raw didn't even end yet.
Yeah.
Granted, they have when they did the post show. Here's the funny thing about the pre-show and the post show, Tyler. When they do the pre-show and it's live on Raw, they actually show the ring because it was like a college game day setup kind of. The ring. And while they're going over to retrospect for Raw, they're taping superstars in the back.
Yeah.
They even come, jump in on superstars matches and that. They even acknowledge that there's a match happening in that. And what's like one time Booker T was like talking, and all of a sudden Sakara's pyro goes off, and he's like, oh, so Sakara's having a match and all that. But it's funny here because. Yeah, you're acknowledging a taping it, but like, doesn't Superstars air on the network?
Yeah.
What's the incentive for them watching Superstars now? If they just saw the results happen
Right.
on Raw. But finally on this and that's the thing about the post show too. The post shows in the past, when they would be out in the same kind of setup, they would either see a dark match or what usually would happen like when the taping ended. Like when Bryan got beat up, they cued the Big Show and John Cena's music. They try to ignore it, but I don't know how you ignore something like that. And Bryan, they show Bryan and John coming out to the ring to help Bryan out, essentially, and to send the fans home happy in a way. So, but anyway, for this post show, they were actually like in some like I guess room backstage and they actually saw. I mean, you actually probably. I guess they probably just came to the conclusion here where we can't show the ring now.
Yeah.
Because we're giving too much away now. We're actually maybe showing the fans too much of what we're receiving, essentially. So I don't know if they're gonna. That's just for the post show, or this is also the new location for the pre-show now. Because I mean, I actually like the whole idea of them being out of the crowd in that.
Yeah.
I think it's great. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but there's action happening behind you.
There's something going on. Yeah.
Like how can I focus on you guys talking about these storylines if I can clearly tell there's a match going on behind you and nobody's like trying they're trying to ignore it.
What is going on back there?
Not to mention, I think there are guys who get distracted because I know like when Jimmy Hart was on. At one point, when if he's getting asked a question, you can clearly tell he's like turning around and like checking this match out here.
Yeah.
Because these guys love the business, so Josie, oh, nice move there, kind of. But no, I mean, I don't know. That's just the interesting thing I noticed about the pre-show and the post-show. But on this post-show, they actually were in a different area of the arena. So so the back was like kind of like a stage area, kind of.
Yeah.
So that they were away from the fans, they were away from the ring. You couldn't see a ring. You couldn't really see anything really. So I'm curious that's a new location for the pre and post show now. Because finally somebody said probably with the Vince said, Vince, another fan idea is cool on that, but we can't show matches then on the network because you're really giving too much to the fans then.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's definitely. Yeah. And then of course, as we were talking through the Brawl, Stephanie McMahon obviously was really enjoying, getting some slaps on Daniel Bryan. I thought that was funny.
Brian's just funny. You hit like a girl. You hit like a girl.
Stephanie McMahon just like,
Wow, moron.
as Triple H is like beating the crap out of him, like,
Oh,
yes,
God.
and Triple H definitely looks in WrestleMania. Looks like he's really been keeping in good shape.
Yeah, those roids just coming into the.
Yeah. No, I think I think Triple H is a clean guy actually, but
Though I don't know, as a full-time guy in a tough, I don't know. Is he barred from his drug testing? I'll see. So.
yeah, I mean, I guess you wondered, but yeah, I don't know if maybe it was also
Like I joked at last year's Mania too, because of how Jack Brock looked all of a sudden, and even Triple H came out looking Jack, and even The Rock came out looking Jack. There's so much do any of these parts like guys actually go through the drug test?
Yeah.
Or these guys actually allowed to take some substances
Yeah.
for like one night just to look like jacked as hell with that shit? Yeah. Or is this actually all natural muscle here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Triple H, Triple H not really wrestling as much anymore. Maybe just
Yeah, but you tell me just lifting weights and all that. That's what that's gonna do.
Well, not just lifting weights, but
yeah.
I mean, like,
how much cardio?
Protein and
how much cardio do you think this guy actually does on a regular basis? Probably.
Yeah. I mean, then he was beating up Daniel Bryan, and he's just a smaller guy. That's the thing. Like when
some people are curious too. They're like Bryan's height. Like when you see him stay down with Triple H, and even
that, and
But just in order, it's like. Okay, I mean, but he's not even coming off as like a Rey Mysterio kind of like character either, where it's like, because I know when Rey held the belt, they always acknowledge, oh, he's this small guy, he's getting his ass kicked in the ring, and that. It's like with Bryan, they're actually like saying this guy can beat up anybody. It doesn't matter what size they are. He can legitimately beat up anybody if he wanted to.
Right, yeah.
Kind of like a different kind of idea for a small person, but no, you can clearly tell who's the shortest guy when these guys get in the ring.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and then that, I mean, that and, Triple H, the styles, too, I mean, Daniel Bryan's not going to try to outmuscle Triple H, and, that's the thing.
I'm just curious where they're going to put it in the card, because I don't think it's going to be like right before the main event. I think it's going to be like maybe in the middle, maybe.
Right, yeah. That's what I would think that, too.
Hell, it would go past me. This is the opening contest maybe for Mania, Bryan and Triple H. People would say that's crazy, but I also would say why not? This is, I mean, really to this day, everybody still claims the best opening match at a Mania was Owen Hart versus Bret Hart WrestleMania 10, and no, I'm not going to debate that. I can't think of any main event opening contest for Mania that could top that match. Yeah. So if you had like a main event match off the bat, Also, it could set the tone there too. I mean, like, it could be like for the first time, someone who opened a show if we win is going to close it if we win. Kind of different than what Bret did at 10. He lost against Owen, but then he won the belt that night against Yokozuna, which kind of, I think, feud that whole Owen-Bret kind of feud later on in the year, because Owen could say, okay, yeah, you're the champ, but I pinned you 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So we all know who the better guy actually is, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. That's a good topic of discussion right now. Like, of the matches we have, like, which one do you think should, open it? Yeah. I mean, you got a lot of multi-man matches.
I mean, everybody would say maybe the Battle Royal too, just because it's.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
then again, here I don't know how that puts over the Andre the Giant trophy that these guys will be wearing.
Yeah.
I to be fair though, we never actually have seen how big this actual trophy is.
Yeah.
All we see is this close up.
Yeah. You wonder if it's going to be like Stanley Cup size or something.
Yeah, is it Stanley Cup size?
Lombardi Trophy size?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, how big is this trophy we're talking about? I mean, obviously, if it's Andre Giant, you hope it's like decent size at least. It's based on off a giant. Yeah. But no, I mean, is that? I think if the Shield thing happens, that could be the only one, especially if there's a turn. That could be nice.
Yeah. They opened last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they did. It gets Sheamus and Randy Orton, and everybody thought that that'd be a good chance for Orton to finally turn heel. Because everybody heard that Orton wanted to turn heel. They wanted him to turn heel. The question was more of when was it going to happen. And they waited all the way up to SummerSlam to turn it heel.
The entire year.
To push the button, that's when they finally pushed the button finally.
I remember like the entire year before SummerSlam. That's so, here it's going to turn heel, and finally SummerSlam.
Well, I didn't even tease it, like, when Orton was the team captain, for Foley's team against
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler, and Ziggler won it, and it was only because Orton kind of got cocky and was going to go for a punt, and Ziggler hits a
Right.
super kick out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which right there, that could have been a great double turn right there, because you could turn Ziggler face there, you could turn Orton heel that moment,
Yeah.
because when I saw Ziggler pin Orton clean, that's what it was. I'm thinking, okay, this has to be a baby face run here
Yeah.
set up, but no, I mean they kept him heel for a little bit longer until they had to actually turn a baby face.
Yeah.
But that's because they're facing Del Rio, and Del Rio was getting over his baby face. But,
Yeah, and then there's all the tag team match. I mean,
Triple threat, yeah?
the tag team title match. I guess.
Yes.
I guess that could possibly. Yeah, I think Daniel
Yeah,
Bryan.
actually, it wouldn't be right
back.
back in that triple threat match because they're already confirmed for the Battle Royal. But it is a triple threat for a tag team though. So
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
it's the Usos, the Real Americans. I can't think of their third team though. But it's not right back because
Yeah.
both of them are in the Battle Royal, and
Yeah, well, that's what they were saying. They were saying in the article I had up earlier. They're saying that, but I don't know. It might be a little.
but I mean, they're wrong. But Ryback was in the Fatal 4-Way Double Contender match for SmackDown this week. But at the same time, I don't think that's what.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Rhodes family too, because they're not confirmed for the Battle Royal, and that's kind of they got nothing
Yeah.
to do so far for Mania.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
And they did just beat the Real Americans on main event too, so they do have momentum, and they are the former champions too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be the Rhodes family
Yeah.
too. Maybe. But I don't know. SmackDown's gonna show up tomorrow. I also check the spoiler site maybe
Yeah.
tonight as well, but. I mean, I just thought that it can't be right back because they're already in Battle Royal, and I don't think they're gonna unless they're doing double duty.
yeah.
But I think they really want
I
to.
don't think. Yeah.
I think they really want to hype up the whole idea that Bryan's going to be wrestling in 2 matches and making that kind of special.
Yeah.
Because if you just have any kind of random mid-carder doing it,
Right.
it's
yeah.
not that special.
In a tag team match in a battle royal. Yeah. So it's
You know, you either do one or the other. You
Yeah.
either go for this Andre the Giant trophy or you win the tag team
right.
belts.
Yeah. Yeah. That and it
Both
makes,
of which I don't see Ryback doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that and it gives a couple more spots in that battle royal for people.
Exactly.
Instead of having like a double, like they're in the tag team match and then they're also in the battle royal.
I
Kind
mean-
of defeats
like you
the
said,
battle
we got.
royal a little bit
I mean,
too.
some people have been joking about how we might maybe get some legends. Maybe might be in it. I mean, obviously there was rumors that the Ultimate Warrior might actually have a match, maybe. And now that I think about it, why not just put him in the Battle Royal?
Yeah.
If he wants to have one more match, I'm not gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of the guy. Like the guy's way out of shape. But you know what? I would not mind hearing the Ultimate Warrior, that kick-ass theme song, one more time
Yeah.
as like a swan song. I want to see him win the match.
Right.
But if Battle Royal is probably the safest thing you can do for a guy that age.
Yeah.
Instead of him just coming out and doing an actual match.
Yeah.
Unless it's gonna be like a 1 minute 30-second burial of somebody, and go try to find a talent to put over that 50-something-year-old man essentially.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, there's that. Divas is gonna be somewhere after a main match. I think that's usually
Yeah.
what's known as the backroom break.
Maybe after Triple H and Daniel Bryan. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you got AJ Lee,
Tell me
obviously,
where that
and here's the thing. For that, I have no idea who's going to be in that title match because you got Natalya, who can face AJ.
Yeah.
The Bellas clearly someone. At least Bree's been looks like her name's been
Yeah.
getting on there. You got Naomi and her eye patch now for that orbital socket or orbital bone thing essentially.
Yeah.
But she's I mean, obviously someone's got to win it over AJ because they've been hyping up this whole next season Total Divas as
Yeah.
someone from the cast is going to win the belt.
Right. Yeah. That's
And-
the thing.
There's a new cast member, but it's not AJ, it's Summer Rae. So clearly, someone on the show has got to win the belt. Now, is it going to be Natalya, Brie, or Naomi? I mean, it's going to be somebody.
Yeah.
And AJ had a good run as the belt. I mean, actually, very
Yeah.
very, very lengthy run actually.
Yeah. I think. Well, in its several years it's been around.
Yeah.
It's the longest reign of the Divas Championship.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I mean, that's been several years, I guess. But I don't know. It's interesting to see what the longest reigning women's champion has been, at least in recent years. But
Yeah. Because I think AJ might be up there too. Because like, she's had that belt for a very long time.
But then again, there's been with the focus on Total Divas and the weak state of division, the Divas division. It unfortunately doesn't say as much as it could. But yeah, especially if another one of these divas wins it over AJ, I don't know how that's gonna fly. Unless if it was like Natalia or something, I could see that. But yeah, I mean, some of these other newer divas that might not even be over yet. Going over AJ WrestleMania, I don't know how. A lot of people who just strictly watch the Raw and SmackDown, the wrestling part of it. I don't know how they're gonna react to that. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up on the Great Wrestling Debate today. I think we kind of covered everything that's going on and
yes,
matches we
gotta go somewhere. That's why I can't do the Stargate '84 review. That'll be next week, which is fine. I can actually do it, but that isn't a week. I can actually maybe rewatch it again, take maybe some last minute notes again. I can also start watching '85. Because I got a long way to go.
There's a lot.
Trust me. The day we get to the point where the NWO shows up, I'm going to say it, I'm going to be a college graduate, probably have a job, and maybe we'll not be living with my parents. Maybe we're all hoping. But no, but obviously we got a long way to go for. It's WCW. It's still NWA WCW right now, so it's Ric Flair country for a while. But that's gonna be next week, and I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about some other pop culture stuff in the news, maybe as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Well, I guess we'll look forward to that then on the Great Wrestling Debate.
Because it might be a slow Raw. You never know.
Yeah.
Because the final show is
second to last.
The final show is gonna be they're gonna be pushing anything they can. The second, I think actually history shows that the second to last show usually can be a slow show because they don't want to throw too much out there because they know they got one more show yet.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. You never know.
Obviously, Undertaker and Lesnar are going to be face to face for the first time since Lesnar got his ass kicked by Taker.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that stare down goes. They've been hyping that up very well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes as always. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up on the Great Wrestling Debate. We'll see what happens next week. See if it is a slow Raw. But either way, we'll be back to talk about it next week on the Great Wrestling Debate as always. Send in any questions if you'd like, and we'll we can address them as we're just a matter of a couple weeks away from WrestleMania 30. So thanks for tuning in as always.